All right, I have seen a lot of videos out there with reviews of the Baltoro 65 as well as the Atmos AG 65 separately, but my biggest issue had been trying to compare getting one versus the other, and I hadn't seen any videos out there with that, so I figured I'd do this short video to do a little quick comparison. You can get obviously a lot of information from the Gregory website as well as the Osprey website. A few interesting facts. The Atmos is a little bit cheaper MSRP at $270, and the Gregory 65 is $299. As you can see here, I've got two different ones. This one right here is the Atmos 65, the AG 65. It comes, I believe, in three colors. This red color, which is kind of nice, a light gray, as well as a dark blue color. The Gregory Baltoro 65 comes in this black color, as well as a brighter orange color as well. So in case color matters to you guys, you get a few more options, I think, with the Atmos AG65. As far as the actual size, so obviously they all come in small, medium, large based on your torso. The Atmos, the overall liter size is actually a 62, with a medium at 65 and the large at 68. That's compared to the Baltoro, which is pretty similar, which is small is 63, medium 65, and large is 68. The Baltoro 65 actually weighs a little bit more. So a medium is 4 pounds 13 ounces, whereas the medium in the Osprey is 4 pounds 9 ounces. You can find that all on their websites too. Torso size is also about the same. In the Baltoro, the small is 16 to 18 inches, medium is 18 to 20, and the large is 20 to 22. Whereas the Atmos is 16 to 19 on the small, and then 18 to 21, and then 20 to 23. So perhaps a little bit more options as far as your torso size. Also, on the one thing about the Osprey is you actually are able to adjust it a little bit more through here, so you can adjust the size of the backpack a little bit more. You guys have probably all seen this already. The two different suspension systems. This one has their anti-gravity, where it's webbing that goes all up and down. I will say one thing that's a little bit of a pain with the Atmos is that when you're trying to put it on, this thing sort of naturally collapses down, which is great when you're wearing it, but when you try and put it on, you have to sort of make sure you're opening it up and spreading it out so you can get it around you. Whereas if you look at the Gregory over here, it sort of more naturally sort of is open, so it's a little bit easier to get on and off. Most of the reviews have said how the Gregory can handle heavier loads, so if you're doing really big loads, 50 pounds plus, things like that, apparently this one is a little bit sturdier. This one feels a little bit mushy when you're on heavier loads. This one probably has some better back support. This is the Gregory, the Osprey. Some other things to note is these hip belt pockets on the Osprey, which are larger than on the Gregory. The Gregory, as you can see, is a little bit smaller. I will say one thing, these are really hard to get open and close just with one hand. So even though they're larger, when you're on the trail and trying to get things open, it's like, you have to try and make sure you get that in. The Gregory, these pockets are a little bit further forward, and it's actually easier to get sort of open and closed. They're a little bit smaller though. They also do have this Velcro, so supposedly you can change these out. Although I don't know if I've ever actually seen, when I looked on the sites, if you can actually just change the pockets out. You have to change the entire waist belt out. So those are some of the things that I've noticed. As far as comfort, they're both pretty comfortable. Like I said, this might be a little bit nicer when it's hot, just because there's a little bit more, I think, air circulation through the anti-gravity system they have here, the webbing. The overall comfort of the straps is both are pretty darn good. They're both well padded. There is obviously some aeration here, but it's not quite as much as it is here. So let's take a look on the back side of these. And like I said, these are sort of just little practical things I noticed as far as differences that might make a difference to you. As you can see on the Baltoro 65, they have this webbing right here. This little thing is a little bit more of a pain to sort of get in and out of it. It's sort of stuck to the bottom there. The other thing is the webbing is a little bit thicker, but it's not as flexible as on the Osprey. You can still get plenty of stuff in there, but it's just a little bit less flexible. If you look at the Osprey, now their hook is underneath here, and it's a little bit more free, so you can sort of open it, close it more easily, although it's underneath this. It's also, as you can see, it's a little bit larger, and it's much more flexible than on that one. So you can stuff more stuff into this outside portion. The other thing I noticed here is actually they both come obviously with the separate bottom sleeping bag section. It is a little bit larger if you look at this on the Osprey compared to the Baltoro. If I try and open this one up, it's a little bit harder to get into this one. And it's a little bit smaller. Now you can, as with both of them, obviously you can just undo these separators here. You can undo this here. It's a little bit more complicated, I think, on this one. Baltoro, you can take this entirely out. This one you can just unhinge it. But the space to try and stuff things is a little bit smaller. I've got this compression pack here. You can swing back a little bit. So this one, it's not the smallest of compression packs, but this one, I can get it in there pretty good. It's it's a little bit more of a struggle. I try and, I have to sort of close it up, get in there, and then I can, close it up. Versus, I come over here to the Atmos. Sorry, it's a little bit easier to sort of get it in. As you can see, there's a little bit more room, so it's easier to get in and out. If you have a really small compression pack for your sleeping bag, it's not going to matter. But if you have a pack of a sleeping bag that's a little bit bulkier, this is going to be easier to get in and out of. All right, so let's close this up. Side pockets are about the same. The Atmos has a nice, side pocket here. Right. If you look at the Gregory, similar type of thing, pretty big. They're about the same size, maybe a little bit larger on the Atmos compared to the Gregory. Okay. The one big difference that's sort of a nice feature on the Gregory versus the Atmos is this little guy. You open this up, and voila. You can, let's say now granted, you should pack wisely, but let's say for some reason there's something at the bottom of your pack that you really wanted to get to. With the Gregory, you have this U opening, you can just go in there, get stuff. With the Osprey, you're gonna have to dump out stuff and go back in, because there's no easy way to get in there once you've packed stuff. Let's look at the side pocket here. They both have nice compression straps. The one difference also, as far as these little side webbing things, is that it's pretty nice and loose. You can get into it from the front as well as on top, versus the Gregory, which instead of having a webbing like that, they have a dedicated water bottle holder, which is pretty easy to get in and out of the way it's angled. I will say it's a little bit easier to get in and out of this than it is on the Osprey. And on the other side, you also have a webbing. Once again, it's a little bit stiffer, still pretty good. It only is on top. It doesn't have that front pocket here. On top, the Gregory has, on the top lid, on the inside it has a zipper where they put the included rain cover, which is kind of nice. This has an included rain cover, whereas this one you have to buy a separate one. So even though it's about $30 cheaper, you're gonna have to spend like 20-30 bucks to get a pack cover. So it's about a wash as far as the cost. This you can also release and totally take this top pack off. It has extra pockets on the side here, pretty big. So it has it on this side and on this side. One goes sort of over and under the other. You can take this off if you want to, and then you have this. The pull to close it is about the same. I mean, it's both of them are pretty easy. I mean, just close it up here and open it up. Pretty easy. If you look at the Osprey, that top portion, you can take this totally off, and then they have this little cover thing. I don't know if you'd ever use this. I don't know why you would use this alone unless you really want to cut weight and just have this off. Neither of these packs are folks who are, I guess, ultra light folks. So the way the top portion of the Osprey is, their pocket as opposed to on the sides is on the top. So you have this on top, pretty decent size here. It also has a separate one, also in the front, and that's much larger. So that covers the whole thing. Okay. Pull zips, so to speak. These little things are about the same on both. Pretty easy to get in and out of all. As far as water hydration, this one just has a little sleeve on the inside, right here. You can clasp it, and then it goes through to your pack. This one, it's a nice little feature. It actually has a bag you can take out all the way. So the water sleeve is supposed to go in there. If you wanted to, you can use this as a day pack. You can, as you see here, you can take this out completely, like so, and little straps. They say also on the site what you can do as well is you can use some of the other straps here, like these bottom, sleeping pad ties on the bottom. These easily come off, as you can see. And you can use that as actually, if you wanted to, as a waist sort of belt on these. So that is actually an added feature that's kind of nice if you wanted to use it. I think that's it, more or less. Like I said, I wanted to sort of go through some of the differences because I was trying to figure out which one to get myself. If I could combine the two, it would be perfect. This one has a slightly larger sleeping bag compartment on the bottom, slightly larger flexible pocket on the outside, like the color. These are sort of nice to have these big sort of flexible pieces on the outside here. You can put your tent poles into those and strap them in, or getting to your water ball is not a bad thing. Larger hip pockets, although I think they're a little bit harder to get in and out of. This has that on the fly. You can put your trekking poles if you needed to. There's a way you can put that together. And then, if you're doing a lot of stuff in the summertime, when it's really hot, this might be nicer. Although, once again, I think if you're carrying really heavy loads, this is not quite as supportive as the Baltoro. Baltoro, once again, the thing is, side pockets are a little bit smaller, although they're a little bit easier to get in and out of. Not quite as adjustable as far as the hip, although the hip belt itself, when you look on the website, minimum to maximum size, unless you're really on the extreme of either, you're going to be fine. A little bit more lumbar support, I think, on the Baltoro. It also has, if for those of you guys who are interested in this, for electronics and stuff like this, this particular side pocket is totally waterproof. So that's one of the things they advertise. It can also come off as well. So you can sort of totally unzip this if you wanted to, supposedly. So you can take that out. What else? Oh, like I said, added benefit, you can have this day pack if you wanted to, which is kind of nice. This one, if it matters to you, once again, the sleeping bag pocket is a little bit smaller. You can take out this entirely if you needed to, the separator. It's a little bit more, stuff could fall through a little bit more, honestly, because it's not quite as, doesn't web all the way across like on the Osprey. But yeah, otherwise, those are sort of things. Oh, one last thing. If you need to close things up, once again on this, you can close it up. That's how you close it. You need to open it up. So either way, both of them are pretty easy from that standpoint. All right, so I hope that helped you. Like I said, I was trying to figure out which one to get. I think for me, this one fit me a little bit better. So I think that's the other thing is you gotta go in and just try them on and see which one fits you better. This one ended up fitting me a little bit better. I liked the U shape, so I could get in if I needed to. And then it was a little bit easier getting into the side pockets on the hip belt. And that's about it. Hope that's helpful for you guys. Thanks for listening.